So, yeah, welcome, friends. And yeah, welcome to Scotland. I am, just in a mini retreat by myself at the moment, and I am trying something that has been an edge for me, something quite scary, which is fasting. And originally my intention was to fast 7 days, no food for 7 days. And I'm easing into it I've decided to do a 3-day juice fast and a 3-day water fast. And this is day 1. And I'm feeling all right. Feeling pretty good, powered by plants. This is celery, carrot, spinach, kale, all in a glass. And some of the benefits of fasting is cleansing the body. 15% of our energy is spent on digesting food, and if we are always eating, then we never give our digestion system a rest. And when we do give it a rest, we go through a process called I need to get this word right, autophagy, something like that. I'll confirm that. And it's basically when the number of calories are available goes down, the body starts decomposing and using old fat stores and old cells for fuel, and it cleans out the body. It's like a spring clean for the body. And so fasting has a really beautiful cleansing effect on the body. And then there's also the mental and spiritual benefits to fasting, where we have less, and so we then find out what's left of us. And for me, food is my absolute thing that I use to comfort myself and distract myself if I'm feeling stressed. And I give myself a reward, and that's often food. And there's absolutely a place for that. I generally feel good about my eating habits and feel healthy and strong. But I also notice that, I do use food to sedate myself. And so from a mental clarity perspective, a discipline perspective, and a spiritual perspective, when we have no food whatsoever, then it means that we have to face ourselves. We have to become intimate with ourselves and our suffering and the things that we normally distract ourselves from. We have to face them with courage and kindness and say, hello, this part of me that I've been avoiding. And you know about the underminer, which is the word that I came up with for my inner critic. Well, my compulsive aspect of myself is called impulse stilt skin, which I had a thought about today as trying to think about who the characters would be for my compulsive nature. And so impulse stilt skin, who likes to bewitch us with tall tales of satiation. Impulse stilt skin will say, yes, have this cookie and then you'll be feeling good again. And maybe I do feel good when I have the food, but then very quickly I'm craving the next thing. And impulse stilt skin has got me in his grasp, forever caught in the endless hedonic cycle of consumption and craving from which I can never step off. And so fasting is this challenging adventure where I do not follow the craving, and I watch the craving and I see if I can survive. And there is a spiritual dimension to this which I'm already feeling, which is that because I use food to comfort myself, I'm having these thoughts coming up from my impulse stilt skin, and my underminer saying I'm not strong enough to do this. Physically, I can do it. Physically, I can be without food for 40 days. That's how long Jesus did it, supposedly. Maybe even longer. So physically, I can do it. But whether or not I can get through this week is the extent to which I can get out my own way. To let go and let Tao. Or to let go and let God. And God isn't a word that has really resonated. It hasn't resonated with me in the past because it comes with it so much baggage, like this idea of a man in the sky looking down. And that idea of God never resonated with me and doesn't make sense from my experience. But I've been reading the Bible and ideas from Muhammad, who wrote the Quran. Both for Christianity and Islam, fasting is a really important part of their spiritual practices because they surrender themselves to God. And they have to surrender. So say, I'm getting all these cravings, like I'm not strong enough to not have food, I can't do this. Is the connection with God comes when I surrender to this experience and I trust that God or the universe or Great Mother or nature, whatever word works for you, will carry me through. So to surrender quicker and to trust deeper. And so, let go and let God does make sense to me. It's a word that is resonating at the moment. And so, that's what I'm working with at the moment with fasting. This is day 1 of my juice fast. And I'll be real with you right now. I've got a bit of a headache, feel a little bit weak, so I'm going to have some more of this. Day 1 of juice fasting. And actually I felt good. Powered by plants in a juice form. Doesn't seem too bad. So today's subject, if you're willing to go there with me, is fasting. So what are your experience of fasting? What's your fears about fasting? Do you have any intentions to do fasting? What do you think the biggest challenges are? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and we can get a bit deeper from what I've been reading. I'd love to explore more with you. So Soul Survivor, on what God is, Soul Survivor says, God is the creation force that created all of us, the trees, the earth, and all the galaxies. Something created the universe, and it's that same force that created us with that we are said to be in connection with. So with science, we've learned that we are one star. We are one planet circling around a star, and there's hundreds of billions of stars within just our galaxy, and there's hundreds of billions of galaxies. 2,000 years ago, when Jesus was about, and the Jews and these Abrahamic religions, this is the only the Abrahamic religions are ones that I know better. So there are other monotheistic religions, but for the Abrahamic religions, they saw saw humanity as made in God's image. So we, as humanity, the most dominant species on this planet, were made in God's image. And so for them, their idea of God was very, very much human-centric, that we were the center of the universe and the planet was created for us. The Old Testament says the birds and the beasts of the field were given to humanity. Humanity had dominion over them. But now with science, seeing how big the universe is, how could it possibly be true that God was that obsessed with this one species on this one planet in 100 billion galaxies? And not to say that the universe doesn't love us, or, we're not nourished by the universe or nature or Great Mother or God. We are supported. We are here, conscious, thinking, breathing, dancing, laughing miracles of nature, great mysteries that we are. So in my journey, I felt a love and a support from the universe. And that is, coming from an atheist and becoming more and more connected. But I don't believe that God, is out to look after just our species as if we are kind of superior to the rest of the world. So even in your language of saying that something created the universe, that something is a word that needs to be unpacked, because is your thought that God is the thing that created everything, that even that supposes that there is some separation, that there is God creating stuff. And what we see from nature is that everything is self-organizing. Like there wasn't an external assembly plant that created me. There wasn't somebody with blueprints creating me. I was created by myself. I'm a self-organizing system, as the trees are. Somebody doesn't tell the notes, what notes the birds to sing or how high the tree should grow. Everything just happens by itself. So nature is spontaneous, self-organizing. The very word for nature in Chinese is siran, which means self-so. So the word for nature is that which comes into being by itself, self-so. So if we could say that's true about living beings here on planet Earth, then it seems to me likely that the universe too is a self-organizing system, that there's nothing outside of it. It is self-perpetuating and self-creating. And so, I guess we could still say that there is that which got everything going. Before there was stuff, there was no stuff. And perhaps that was God or Tao, or the propensity for the laws of nature to manifest, whatever words work for you. In that sense, God does predate everything, but it depends what we mean by something started the universe, because if we're believing that something is outside of ourselves, then I believe that we are stuck in duality and stuck in separation, where it seems to me that the universe is one. There is no separation. More juice for me. Thanks for your thoughts, Soul Survivor. Good stuff. Ariel sharing that they prefer all that is, or divine wisdom, as opposed to God. I like that. Joseph sharing, so I shared that my compulsive nature is called the impulse. Keep on getting this wrong. Impulse stilled skin. Bit of a tongue twister. But Joseph says his is the compulsinator. Nice. I was actually another one of my options was the cravinator. I like the compulsinator. Good choice. Ariel sharing, just had acupuncture for the first time. Anam sharing, my mind loves the idea of fasting, my body not as much. Soul Survivors sharing, since we come from this force of creation, that what allows us to manifest or to make and to create life and the reality that we want to see. So, we come from this great mysterious source, and as we understand it, we can manifest our own reality. Whoo! Spiritual buzzword bingo there. And I try and break down these words because that makes sense to me now, whereas before that would absolutely ring my woo 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 alarm bells. So we come from this great mysterious source. That's, I'm sure, fine with most of you. And if we understand ourselves and the universe, we can manifest and create our own reality. So it's a simple statement to say that our beliefs shape our feelings, our beliefs shape our perception of the world. So if I believe, I'll go straight to my fasting. I had this insight today. I've been focusing on my fears with the fasting. I'm working on a film that I'm really excited about. I'm doing a lot of work at the moment on the laptop, and I have been feeling under-resourced at the moment and doing loads of great things that I'm excited about. But it's been a lot for me behind the scenes, and my fears coming up is I'm not strong enough to do this. I'm not going to be able to get through it doing this 3 days of fasting or 7 days of fasting. And I had my juice today and went for a walk in nature, and I felt charged up. I realized that, I felt that food wasn't the only source of energy for me, that I could also, feel energized when I'm walking in a forest and putting my hand on a tree and just feeling the wind blowing on my face and relaxing tension. And I realized that I'd been focusing on my fears. And so then that was the reality that I was manifesting. My reality is my experience in this present moment. I was manifesting a reality of tension and fear and insecurity. And so can I instead give myself permission or invite the belief that it's going to be easy, and this process of fasting, of going without food, is going to be a joyful learning experience? And the more I can stay in that belief, the more I manifest that reality, that even when I'm feeling lower energy, I let go and let down. I let go of me trying to control what my experience should be, and instead surrender to the present moment. And if I can surrender easily, then it becomes easy. It's like, okay, suffering is arising in the present moment. That's all right. That's fine. And yeah, maybe I'm feeling a bit lower energy. That's also okay. If I don't resist what's coming up for me, if I can surrender to what's coming up, then it becomes easy. So if I focus on the belief that everything is going to be easy, then hey, suddenly my reality changes. So yeah, it's really powerful, our beliefs, because they shape our reality. So that's a mantra. Is that a mantra that you could use? What if this was easy? What are you finding challenging at the moment? Taking a moment to reflect. Is there something that you're judging yourself with, you're feeling insecure about, feeling like you're not strong enough to do it? What if it was easy? And how does it feel in your body right now? If you're being present with that idea, what if it was easy? What's coming up for you? Are there right ideas and resistances saying why it can't be easy? Great. Keep on exploring, keep on navigating and discerning what are these beliefs that are coming up. Because you've got this macro belief, or I have this macro belief of fasting is going to be really difficult. And then it's broken down into these sub-beliefs that make up this overall belief that then creates my feeling and my reality. So, am I going to be so tired that I'm not going to be able to do the things that I need to do? Am I going to be miserable? Am I going to suffer? My beliefs are that all of these things are going to happen. And so then I can begin to work on each of these individually. Am I going to be able to do everything that I want to do? Maybe actually the fasting is inviting me to slow down and to get off the laptop and maybe just go sit in the forest. So I'm okay with that. Am I going to be miserable? I trust that I'll be okay with what comes up, and I surrender to what happens. But I actually believe in my resilience and my ability for my body to generate energy without food and to be nourished by source. And sitting with that in an embodied way, like what's coming up for you? What feelings are coming up for you? Where are those feelings coming up? Not judging that experience, just maybe even speaking out loud for yourself. The challenges that you've got at the moment, inviting ease with them. What does that bring up? So it's quite a powerful question, right? It can bring up some good insights, and welcoming some reflection on that, if that is something that you're called to after this session. And I'm sharing, did fasting 15 years ago, I'm inspired to try it again. I also want to continue with cold showers. Cold showers have been something that I finally got into this year. Just doing 30 seconds at the end of the shower. And it's a great way to, just wake yourself up first thing in the morning, raise your energy. And again, it's this practice of doing things outside of our comfort zone and then getting through it and building that muscle. Courage is a muscle. Willpower is a muscle. Everything that we are is habits. It's all neural pathways. All of our behaviors, all of our beliefs come from the things that we do repeatedly. And if we have this practice of a cold shower, even just for 30 seconds at the end of a warm shower, doing something that we don't want to do, but doing it anyway, and trusting ourselves that we get through, and the results prove themselves that we get through and we're fine and we feel stronger, we feel more awake, then we're exercising that habit, that muscle, that strength of willpower, and that has many benefits. The Sun Man sharing, for nothing to exist, everything has to exist. Everything defines nothing. Indeed, we get stuck in the words of, for our brains, it's like, well, there's got to be nothing before something, right? That's from our limited worldview, like, who knows, maybe, our telescopes show that everything in the universe is expanding outwards, and we roll the tape back 13.6 billion years, and it appears that the whole universe started at a single point, the Big Bang. And we could imagine that even that single point maybe went to nothing. It's like, what happened before something? We are beings that live on linear time. Time only goes in one direction for us. That's from our perspective. Maybe time is a big circle and it comes back, and there doesn't need to be nothing. I mean, who knows? It's great mysteries, but our words of emptiness and nothingness proceed, they need a human to speak them. So words cannot contain the great mystery that we are a part of. Darryl, building on that, we don't come from, we are what is. Yeah, I like that. So we don't come from nature, we are nature. And yeah, we can comfortably say we come from nature, but that still supposes a separation. Like I, George, this separate being, arrive and I come from this different place, when really my idea of separation and my idea of George is only due to neurons firing in my brain that give me a perception of being a point of consciousness separate from the world. You can't hear my thoughts, you can't feel my feelings, and so I have this illusion that I'm separate, but it's still just nature coming together into really complex forms in the form of a brain and an embodied human being, and consciousness emerging out of this great mysterious coming together of a human body, and then the stories and words coming about me being separate. But it's still all happening in nature. I am still nature experiencing itself. And so, yeah, it's no separation. Alex, sharing pantheism, a mystic approach to truth and not a dogmatic one. So yeah, pantheism, in my understanding, is the idea that there is spirit or mind or intelligence throughout nature, and that there is a diversity of divinity, instead of the sacred being up above and us being lowly humans and needing to apologize for our sexuality and for our misdeeds. And sure, maybe we can apologize for our misdeeds, but we're human and we're born like this, and it seems to me there is a sacredness to our very being, and the trees and the plants and the rocks and the rivers and the planet Earth itself and the sun and all that exists is part of this great divine dance of life, of existence. And so for me, it's all sacred, and that seems to me a more open approach to truth and to understanding ourselves. Darryl sharing, we can manifest aspects of our experience, but our reality is manifested by the whole of society. So yeah, and I think that's where the manifestation people are really limited. So, the manifestation ideas that you can create your own reality, and through your beliefs, you can shape a life that you want. So if you want financial abundance, then you just got to put on your wall a vision board of a big mansion and $1 million check, and then just think about it every day, believe that you already have it, feel it, know it, and then you shall manifest millions. Cool. I think there is some value to having a direction to place your energy, your precious energy, and to manifest the things that you want in your life. Maybe $1 million is a bit of an empty aspiration. Maybe, flourishing connections, of work that excites you, and enough money to live. Great things to manifest. So that's all great, but it's very, very, very rich to say to a Pacific Islander whose island is going underwater because of climate breakdown, to say, right, so you're not manifesting your $1 million home because, you're just not trying hard enough. Oh, you can't eat? Well, you just haven't manifested enough bread. You need to put a picture of bread on your wall and manifest it. So our reality is the co-creation between how we meet the world and society, and the opportunities that we have given the economic and political systems that shape our world. And so, the Pacific Islanders' opportunities are limited because of climate breakdown, or someone living in the Sahel in North Africa facing climate-induced drought. And then they try and escape to Europe, and then they get stuck in migration camps where they can't leave and are treated badly and face potential rape and violence. There's an awful lot of injustice in the world. And so we do need to work together collectively in order to create a world in which people do have the freedom to manifest their unique aspirations. But it's not an individual thing. We have power as individuals, but we don't have unlimited power. Daryl sharing, a Chinese legend says that a Buddhist monk once survived for 7 years consuming only 1 hemp seed a day. That is impressive. And there are stories of breatharians who can survive many, many days just charging up from chi, from prana, from sunlight, and surviving seemingly impossible periods of time. There's also stories of those people dying, and food is important. Food is great. I love food. So my intention is not to become a breatharian, but instead to find more freedom and clarity through having less. Free will. Do we have free will? It's an interesting question. From an everyday experience, we can choose. We have thoughts that come into our minds, and we can choose to eat the apple, or I'm juicing. So technically I should only eat this tomato if it's in a juiced form. So I have the free will to eat this tomato. I also have the free will to not eat it. So from like an everyday human experience, I think it's important, before getting into the philosophical, deeper ideas, is to remember that we do have power to move from where we are, given the upbringing that we have, given how resourced we are, to choose. Responsibility, the ability to choose our response. And my kind of fear with the we don't have free will arguments is that it's disempowering, when actually, we don't have unlimited power, but we do have quite a bit of power to move from where we are. From a more, deeper philosophical perspective, it's quite hard to argue that we do have free will. Partly because it's like, who's the person having free will? Coming back to the conversation we had earlier, it's like, George, is it me that has free will? Who's me? The voice in my head? Well, that actually is something that is affected by, how sleepy I feel, how tired I am, how much food I've eaten, how much juice I've had. And so that voice in my head is dependent upon all those things. Also, the voice in my head uses language that was given to me by my society, by my culture. And so these words that I create, for example, George is a word that I didn't choose. It was given to me. And languages, if you've explored any language, you'll know actually contain hidden metaphors that predetermine or presuppose our behaviors towards certain ways of thinking and being. So, like, I face the world. I'm facing, like, you've just got to face it. This language supposes that, like, yeah, I am separate from the world. I'm facing the world. Or in economics, say, I studied economics at uni, we talked about natural resources. So we had a little diagram for the economy. So natural resources would come in here. This would be transformed into goods and services and then bought by consumers. The assumption being the whole natural world upon which humanity completely depends and everything that we've ever made is assumed to be something called natural resources, which are assumed to be unlimited. And so with that language, we then get into the ecological breakdown that we are facing, because we have this metaphor of nature being a resource to use instead of that we are nature, and the metaphor that it's unlimited, when in fact we live on a finite planet with a finite number of trees and fields and finite number of lithium mining opportunities. We can't grow infinitely on a finite planet. It's just madness. Read some good facts on that recently, that to keep on growing at 2% a year or 3% a year in 100 years' time would mean that the economy is 20 times bigger than it is today. And we're already facing climate breakdown. So anyway, coming back, language is given to me. I don't have choice over that. The voice in my head that I think is me is an outcome from the meeting of nature, society, and this embodied consciousness and the experiences that I've had, which then determine my choices and my thoughts and my feelings and my beliefs. So, I don't think we do have free will, but does it matter? Because, you can get stuck in a philosophical conundrum of like, I don't have free will and George is made up. But, George is a story that I create, and I'm part of this great mysterious thing called existence. But the reality of this experience of my life is that I can choose things and I can move towards things that I want. And as we've been exploring, that's not unlimited, but I do have power. So let's not give it away. All right, beautiful being. Thank you so much